Wong. I'm from iWork Consulting. I lead our user experience practice for the DC office, and I manage the team. So, good luck, everybody.
Okay, the markers are over there.
All right.
My clock is ready for you to start right now. Go.
Flow charts.
Wire. No.
Process.
User process.
User flows. User screen flows.
Workflow. So close, isn't it? So close.
Human.
You're going to need to give me something else.
User. Okay.
User.
Oh, now you're gonna play Pictionary.
User.
Decision. Task. Decision.
User choice. Design.
User.
Persona.
User targeting. Targeting. User targeting.
Center.
We got a winner here. Sir, take one, a round of applause.
The rest of the room got it all at the same time.
Yeah.
What is it about this front row?
Oh, as soon as she said center.
Huge success here. How did you know what he was doing?
I'm not really sure.
I have no problem with that, Sarah.
And in fact, isn't that, to a point?
I mean, he communicated in pieces, and sometimes if pieces is what you get a piece at a time. I think getting a whole concept can be too much for people to digest at once. So it's pieces. Maybe that's it.
Yeah, that's a great point. That's a great point. That's how our audience responds. They don't always say, "Oh, I understand everything." They build to it. Oh, it's this and it's this. And, oh, of course. It's this. Being restrained, being a tight ass, and drawing on a board, they don't really go together too well. It's worth kind of going dramatic. I have yet, and I go dramatic all the time, but I've been in very serious conversations where I've still gone dramatic. It's not like somebody goes, "Oh, I'm so offended by that." They sort of go with it. Maybe if you've already screwed up a lot and you do that, you might lose some credibility, but it's certainly nothing you should be worried about. And he clearly threw caution to the wind and just started to go with it. And I think you're absolutely right. It was the combination of body language and playing the crowd. He realized, hey, I've got momentum, I'm going to go with it. Something we can do every single time we got a market. No, that's a great job. Big round of applause.
And for those who don't know me, I'm Jimmy Chandler. I'm a Senior Information Architect for Sapient.
And go.
Sign.
Lollipop. Easel.
By the way, the score at home, 2-1, 2-1. You guys are losing.
I have no idea what that is.
Presentation. It's a canvas.
Projection.
Perpetual motion machine.
Scale. Perspective.
Process.
Remember, it's a specific
Eye
concept.
tracking.
I'll even tell you that it is a named.
Clusters.
It is a named.
Fitz Law?
Hey! Who said that? Whoa! Where the hell did that come from?
Target, something. Well, I mean, once we started to go down the path of that, it was something to do with how users navigate. Then I realized what he was. Then it actually wasn't. It was part that, but then also what he was doing earlier. It made more sense and put it into context that it was actually like making something bigger to click on, at least in that middle one, I think, and then eventually piece everything together.
I was trying to build a computer there with a mouse,
Oh.
and I'm just a terrible drawer.
Which one of you guys can do a concise explanation of what Fitz Law is? For anybody that
Fitz Law says that if a target is smaller, it's harder to hit than a target is bigger. If a target is farther away, it takes longer to hit than if it's close to where your mouse is. That's
Jimmy did some great stuff that we can talk about, some just nuts and bolts. You've got a marker in your pen in front of people. Jimmy did something that I have a tendency to do. He blocked. So he's asking you to understand what he's doing, and he did a lot of this.
I didn't even know I was doing it.
I do it too. We do it all the time. I wish I could stop. Something that he did that we were coaching other people to do, he went right to, is he didn't just go to plan B, he went to plan C. He wasn't getting traction.
I was also trying to use, hand motions, not just drawing.
Well, it's an interesting
And
point.
I think did it help you figure out I was doing a mouse? Did anybody get that when I was there? A couple people.
You do have to watch out for your cognitive load, right?
Yeah.
So when we're up here, we are in performance. And some of the same rules that work for acting work for any kind of performance, which is why I'm making eye contact right now, because that works in performance, right? that I'm connecting to you and it's making you very uncomfortable, but everybody else is feeling like, man, this guy's really talking about me. And there's a cognitive load. So yes, you're doing mouse motions, but you're doing lots of other motions too. And does it all add up to the message you wanted? Maybe, maybe not. Something to think about. Now, when I say think about it, it means do your stuff and go into analysis later. Don't do it while you're up here, because I don't know, who's had the experience where you start to think about what you're doing too much and you just freeze? Or even worse, when your back is to them because you're like, I'm never going to turn around. Now the other thing though, in his going to plan C, is he made another mistake that I had a tendency to make, that we need to make, is you really shouldn't erase, because remember what he said, remember the feedback he said is, I understood where you're going, but then I remembered what you did over here. Well, he almost erased what he did over here. Especially when you have this glorious set of whiteboards, you don't want to erase anything. It's actually, all right, great job. Round of applause. And so, markers, what are you? Okay, ready? We're gonna cut this back to 4 minutes. You won't notice the difference. Go.
Big blue box.
Question.
L.
Design
See through
process.
you, you're not
Future
transparent.
research. Modular design. What? Design.
Design
philosophy.
relation.
Definitely in the design area.
Checklist.
Pattern library. Variation.
Oh, we got a winner.
I don't know. Wow.
Who said that? Excellent job, Tony.
Yeah, well, everybody's seen those little pictures, well, not everybody, but you've seen those little sheets that have little design patterns on them. So I figured that would be a good trigger. But I also wanted to show the process of you have a blank page and you don't know what to do, so you have all these choices, and then you pick one. That's the best one.
So there's linear and there's linear, right? So the linear here, she wanted almost a time-based linear. You do this, then you do this, and do this. Earlier, the line we were going through was conceptual. Well, if you understand this, and this, and this, and together it is this concept. The tricky part is even when you can use words, even when you can talk to people, you don't know which way they're going to go. And if you go linear, just keep it, and it's not a reason not to do linear, but understand that's one of the dangers of linear. Are they going to go the kind of linear I want them to go? Or more importantly, what happens is, I'm going this way of linear, are they following me or not? And if they're not, do I think the roadkill is going to get up and walk off the road? Probably not. What do I do about it? So you know what your biggest problem is. Hey, they're taking linear a different way than I wanted them to. Now, how does this come up in a professional environment? They ask questions that don't make any damn sense, right? You're walking them through something and they go, well, what about this? And you're like, are they dumb? They're not. You have to be able to reflect back, make the first assumption that, well, I don't think they're dumb. They might be dumb. But let's assume they're not dumb. You have to say, okay, I have communicated in a way that they're going a different place than I wanted them to. The fact that I don't understand what they're talking about is because I took them to, they're going to a place different than I intended. Basically, you're trying constantly, as the artist and the people who are experiencing it, you're going for alignment. And you may start completely unaligned and get them to alignment. You may get what we've experienced as a group now is we've gotten close to alignment and then it's gone back the other way. But you're constantly trying to figure out how can we align me with what the audience is doing. What's nice about visual work and what's nice about working with other people is you don't have to do that forever. There's a point where I got them, because I am aligned, I got them to a place, I'm done. Okay, I got them there, I'm going to move on now. It's nice, think about relationships with human beings. Whoever you love the most, you're constantly trying to align and it never ends. If you think about it, it'll make you crazy. It's nice that this stuff has an ending.